Hey guys, taking the time to chat today about whether or not it really is possible to work remotely as a freelancer. I know that that's a lot of people's dreams, whether that means eventually when the world opens back up again, working from a hut in Bali or a cafe in Barcelona, or even from, your kids' soccer game. But I also know that sometimes when there's something that we really want, we doubt that it's actually possible. So let me tell you that 100% it is absolutely possible to work remotely as a freelancer and really to work from anywhere you want to. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the considerations as you are moving into that, if that's the direction that you want to go. I will say that one of the things that one of the small silver linings that's come out of this crazy pandemic is that companies are more comfortable than ever working with people remotely, working with people on staff and working with freelancers. I will say too that companies are also more comfortable just working with freelancers in general, freelancers of any kind, of any ilk. So do be aware of that as well. It was possible before. It's so much more possible now. Companies get it, they see that it can be done, and they're willing to work with us in this way. So what are a couple of considerations when you are working freelance? When you're working freelance remotely. First of all, you must, no matter where you are, you must have a good internet connection. You have to be available. The great thing is working overseas, I think before I did it, for an extended period of time. At the time I went to Central America for 4 months and I thought, and everywhere we went, the Wi-Fi was fantastic. The funny thing is that a lot of countries all of the restaurants and all the cafes and all that stuff have Wi-Fi, and they're happy to let you know what the Wi-Fi password is. It's not something you should rely on, but know that it is a backup. But when you're planning and you're going to be staying somewhere overseas, make sure, especially if it's an Airbnb or something like that, look for that in the reviews. Other people who travel around will always leave reviews that say, hey, this is fantastic, the Wi-Fi was great, or the Wi-Fi was spotty, or something like that. So definitely make sure that you have adequate Wi-Fi. You also, it's a good idea to make sure that your phone can work from wherever you're going to be. And again, this is if you're going to be overseas, you need to make sure your phone works, even if you're mostly going to be taking Zoom calls, that kind of thing. If you're going to be working at your kid's soccer game, maybe it's not as much of an issue, but you still do have to have Wi-Fi. Watch your kid's soccer game. I'm thinking working in between, I guess I'm thinking more tournament, but you know what I'm saying. If you need to have Wi-Fi on the go, they make little hotspots that you can pick up, and you can use them for an hour, you can use them for a day, whatever, but you have to have that Wi-Fi. You will want that Wi-Fi, you'll want a phone, but you'll also want to be thinking very carefully about what your work hours will be. The cool thing is that depending on what the time zone could be, you could be knocking out a lot of work while your clients are asleep, which is great. But at the same time, you will need to be available at some time during those hours. If you're traveling to some place that is the exact opposite side of the world from where your clients are, you do have to make sure that you are available for some of the time that they are available. And that might mean taking calls at 9 or 10 at night, or taking calls super early in the morning. Luckily, you probably won't have to take a ton of calls, but it's definitely a consideration. You also need to be very careful about time zones. It's very easy to suddenly find yourself in a different time zone, not realize it, and be late or early for a call. I have definitely done that. Also, some calendars will automatically change the time zone to where you are. Some calendars will not do that. You need to know what kind of calendar you have, because I have made that mistake as well. But really the great thing is besides having Wi-Fi, besides having your phone, besides making sure you know what time it is where you are, what time it is where your clients are, there's absolutely no reason that you can't work from wherever you want to, whether it's your kitchen table or your office at home, or you take the kids to Disney World and you work in the mornings while, you know, your spouse or significant other takes the kids in the mornings to Splash Mountain. Now I'm just making stuff up. But you have that ability to be flexible. And I would say, I think a lot of us are feeling very cooped up and dying to travel. So I would encourage you, especially those of you who are building your freelance businesses, our Freelance Success Framework students, you are certainly included in this. Start planning for how you can take advantage of this flexibility, of this ability to work from just about anywhere. So is it possible? Yeah, it's 100% possible. So start planning now so that you can make it a reality as soon as you can.